Welcome back. Now, key stakeholders in the mining industry are busy with constructive conversations on the sector, which has battled the impact of load shedding, port bottlenecks and soft commodity prices. Discussions are taking place at the Joburg Indaba, which is currently in its 12th year. An exciting pivot for the industry is the recent formation of the Government of National Unity and the positive sentiment it has produced for the business environment in this climate. How does the country's mining sector reposition itself for growth? Mzila Mthenjane, CEO of the Minerals Council South Africa, joins us now. Mzila, thanks so much for joining us today. Now, as we get started, we've had a number of conferences that focus on the mining sector, and I'd just like us to talk about the importance of such conferences when it comes to propelling growth within the industry.
No, thanks for having me. No, these kind of conferences are quite important. And today as I speak to you, I'm attending the Joburg Indaba. Earlier in September, I attended the Africa Down Under in Perth in Australia. And then obviously we have our own mining Indaba in February. And I think the importance of your question speaks to the fact that the audience at these conferences is quite diverse, but most importantly, amongst others, includes investors who are looking for opportunities in the country. So they provide a platform to be able to give profile, not only to the country, but to specific sectors in terms of investment opportunities. And as you mentioned, it's an industry that is going through some troubles. The country has been having challenges with electricity as well as with logistics, amongst others. And there's been a lot of work taking place between business and government in trying to address that. And I think most important, sorry, Kara, maybe most importantly, I think the outcome of the elections has certainly set up a very positive sentiment, which we've seen transmit through the markets.
And I want to talk about that. It brings me to my next question, how the mining sector is then looking to take advantage of that. South Africa now seems to be a bit more attractive when it comes to foreign investment with, the benefits from the Government of National Unity, as well as, now that we have more constant energy supply. How is the mining sector then positioning itself to contribute even further to economic growth?
No, I think we're very excited with the event of the Government of National Unity and some of the, the things that we've been hearing coming out of that. What is important, though, is that one has to appreciate the impact of the performance of Eskom and Transnet in the past couple of years on mining. Starting with Transnet, Transnet's performance has affected about 50% of South Africa's mining production and its ability to reach markets through exports. And Eskom has affected another 40% on the precious metal side. So looking at and beginning to experience the fixing and addressing these challenges is beginning to inject confidence in the economy, given the sizable contribution of mining to the industry. And so what people are beginning to pick up is that as Eskom gets fixed, we've seen the no load shedding for the past, I think we're achieving 6 months. That means that, processing and we can also begin to talk about beneficiation, into the short to medium term. These are becoming viable opportunities. And as the same happens with Transnet and we get the capacity of the rail and the ports back to where it should be, that means that production of mining will then get back to the levels that were planned. And we'll be able to see re-employment of people and then those export sales increasing, which will stimulate the economy, provides foreign exchange for the fiscus, and government will have the money required to be able to invest in infrastructure and many other such opportunities.
Mzila, last time I talked to you, I was actually at the Joburg Indaba, and you touched on 3 issues that were affecting the mining sector, Eskom, Transnet, as well as crime and security. We've seen, improvements when it comes to the SOEs, but is crime and security still a problem for the mining sector?
So, the biggest area of focus for now in terms of crime and corruption has, to the extent that it has been impacting on Eskom and Transnet, and there's been significant and very positive progress in that regard in terms of, some of the interventions that, both Transnet government Eskom, as well as, the beneficiaries of those services have been investing. From a mining perspective, one of the biggest issues has been around illegal mining. But there as well, and it's something that I'm going to be quite involved with, looking at the work that the Hawks are doing, working with NPA, working with SAPS. And we've also seen some significant initiatives from government, by the way, in terms of deploying of our National Defence Force in order to provide capacity and assistance to SAPS. So I think these are all the actions that are really giving us confidence that we're really now beginning to work together between government and business in solving the same problems that are going to have a huge positive impact on our economy.
So, when looking, it does seem like, the industry and government have things under control. But we can't forget about those soft commodity prices, especially for the platinum metal groups. That being a concern, those PGM players are facing high costs and they've been cutting a number of jobs as well as dwindling investor interest. Given the limited role these metals play in a more green energy transitions, do PGMs stand a chance in the future?
Well, I appreciate where your comment is coming from, and it's really been a structural change that has been anticipated with the impact on PGMs and PGM prices, given how quickly we've seen the growth in battery electric vehicles. And that was an assumption that there will be a significant drop in the demand for internal combustion engines, which use PGMs for auto catalysts. But that is, yet to be proven in as far as the extent potentially of the damage to PGMs. But where we're sitting, I think there's a learning that is emerging in as far as the extent of adoption, given the current technology of electric battery vehicles is concerned. And what we're seeing is that, it is too soon, or rather it was a rather hasty to write off internal combustion engines. And there remain some prospects for PGMs. But remember as well that there are other uses currently for PGMs, such as jewelry, health, and other such applications. And then looking forward as well, we're also looking at how technology and innovation around the hydrogen economy is going to evolve. And that's going to provide for significant demand for PGMs and fuel cells as well.
So while
we can't write it off yet.
Okay, so while prospects for the PGM sector seem to somewhat be shaping up, I guess a more interesting sector within the mining industry are those critical minerals and how much they can improve the local economy. Do you think that local legislation makes way for investment within the critical mineral space?
Well, this is one issue that has been at the center of the conversation of this conference. And, every panel is making reference to the fact that, not only mining-related legislation, which is absolutely important to enable investment, but we need to look at how the whole package of legislation is enabling investment in mining. So we need to look at firstly, the capacity of government to be able to administer and respond quickly to applications. Time and speed are of the essence when making an investment in mining. Otherwise, you lose opportunities to get to access the market. I think crime and security is important. And I think the importance of stability of policy, that policy is not changing every 5 years when there's a change in government. And then the last point that I think is absolutely important, that policy also needs to have a market outlook, such that when new policy is introduced, a key question or a few key questions that need to be asked is, how is this going to provide for investors, for operators to be able to provide this product to the market at a competitive level and to make profits? Because in generating a profit for any business, you then have the revenue, the cash to be able to reinvest back into the country and be able to continue to stimulate the country and the economy. So policy certainty is absolutely critical, and it's going to play a very important role in making South Africa's role in the supply of critical minerals absolutely competitive.
Mzila, thanks so much for your time and those insights. That was
Thank you for
Mzila
having me.
Mthenjane, CEO of the Minerals Council of South Africa.